All right, let's find out what our panel of experts thinking about this morning. We got a little sizzle panel working over here. Republican strategist Bay Buchanan, Ed Gordon, an award-winning journalist and syndicated television host. We have columnist Ann Coulter and Democratic strategist Chris
Phoenix.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I was worried there for a minute.
Okay. You guys all have your Blackberries out. You guys have any news? Is there anything percolating out there? Is there any...
Harry, no news is good news for me.
You just showed Harry a line in Arlington, Virginia. I just got a buzz from some folks in the Obama camp who said that right now what they're doing is they're taking a look at Virginia and North Carolina. And you just suggested there are a lot of people on the ground. What they're telling people is don't get discouraged by these lines. Stay there. Do not move. We need you.
Right.
And so obviously they see those two states as possibilities.
I mean, basically, what the whole day of today is about is getting out the vote. And what the Obama campaign has put together is probably the most impressive ground army you've seen in American politics, potentially ever, if not in decades. And that's what's all focused, getting out the vote.
And the question ends up for Republicans, do they have the same motivation? Do you think they do?
You know, I think the key here is there's no question Obama has an incredible ground organization. No one's ever been able to compete with it. But this is an incredible year, and it's so historic. It's so much energy and electricity out there. I think the vote is going to be very, very high for both sides. And it's for two reasons. It's not just the historic. It's a reason we haven't talked about, and that is this has been building up for years. The frustration in this country is greater than I've ever seen.
About Washington,
About
DC.
Washington. And so this is their chance to have their voice heard.
You know, one of the most interesting statistics in a lot of these polls that wasn't really talked about a lot was the excitement factor. And if you looked at the excitement amongst voters that were supporting Obama versus the excitement factor for those supporting McCain, I mean, Obama was ahead by 20, 30 points. That is significant because what that means is you have an energized, mobilized base of supporters who are not only going to go out and vote, but they're going to tell their friends and family they're going to go out to vote. McCain just doesn't have that.
Ann Coulter, if John McCain wins, he wins because...
Because of a fear of Obama. It isn't enthusiasm for McCain. I mean, the excitement factor that Chris is talking about
Isn't that telling, though? It's not
important.
about that they're charged up. We don't want the other guy.
Harry,
well, that's pretty astonishing that the polls are as close as they are, considering there isn't particular excitement for McCain. It's lesson number 4 billion on don't run a moderate Republican. Run the right-wing crazies like Ronald Reagan. They win landslides. Palin is that person. People may be voting for Palin, and they may be voting against Obama. I don't think you have a lot of people rushing out.
We were talking about this in the green room,
Yeah.
though. When you talk about Palin, the problem with the Republicans this year has been they have found people who've spoken to their base and speaks to them, ignites their base, excites their base, but they have not found a way to pull in many of the undecideds that you and Bob Schieffer talked about earlier.
Yeah, and the independents, because all these polls with the independents are falling so far.
Harry,
This is the part that's stunning.
90% of the country believes we are going in the wrong direction. This vote is not, oh, how exciting it is to have Barack Obama.
This is a repudiation
of the last several years.
No, I don't agree with that. It is an excitement about Barack Obama. He is, I would say, once in a generation candidate. He's built an incredible campaign, but it's also a reflection of real anger and frustration the American people have. But the other part of this, let's be honest, the Republican Party is living in the past. They talk about Ronald Reagan like he ran 2 years ago. This notion that somehow, if you go run another Reagan Republican, you're going to win.
And where is the next Reagan? Wait, where's the next Reagan?
Roosevelt.
Oh, please. Find somebody new. Find some new ideas,
Listen,
something.
They can say what they want. If you go in there and look at race after race around the country, you have congressional races where the Democrats are pro-life, pro-gun, pro-family, and they're running, and they're strong against immigration. They're running like Republicans, for heaven's sake.
But that's a reflection of the diversity of the party.
That is the Democrats finding people that can win.
If Barack Obama loses, why does he lose?
At this point, Harry, I'd have to say voter fraud at this point. I mean, it's closer to be believed. I really can't even honestly give you a scenario at this point.
It's just not feasible.
It would mean people are lying to pollsters.
There you go. Thank you all so much for being here this morning with us and for your unfettered opinions. Appreciate that very much.